All right, sick. This is Armored Core 6. This is a FromSoft game. You heard that right. This is a FromSoft game. So technically, it is a Soulsborne. It is one of their original IPs before Demon Souls. So it's going to be fast. It's going to be explosive. We're going to go into absurd science of it. And I'm Brain BT, and I have my couch with me.
Hi, I'm PMC Trilogy. I've speedrun some of the older Armored Core games and do some moderation for the series. And I have also played a lot of other FromSoft games like Kingsfield. You know, shout outs to Kingsfield.
Hi, Ross Higashi. I'm here as a science support commentator. I work at Carnegie Mellon Robotics Academy, and we teach robots.
Hi, I'm Cardinal, and I speedrun this game along with Rain. I do the New Game Plus category, and we've worked very hard at getting the game to this point.
Yeah, we've been grinding this for like the last 4 months, just two of us. So let's get a countdown going. In 3, 2, 1, go. So the first few minutes is going to be a little bit involved. So PMC, can you go into the premise of the story, followed by what exactly is, and specifically the name Raven?
Right, so 2 parts to that. One, of course, is the game is called Fires of Rubicon. It takes place on the planet of Rubicon, which is the home for an extravagant amount of coral. More about that later, but the point of coral is that everyone wants it because it is super useful for many, many reasons. Our player character is coming here because they are under the control of Handler Walter, who has his own reasons for wanting to be here. Now, I should also mention, of course, that Rain pointed out that the name Raven is important. In the older games, Raven was a class of independent mercenary. You would become a Raven at the beginning of the game and then go through the game as an independent mercenary. Now, in this game, in Armored Core 6, Raven is a call sign that we picked up in the first mission. We're playing New Game Plus, so we're not doing the very, very first mission of the game. In New Game Plus, you skip that mission. Here, we're going straight into the second mission of the game, or you have one of 2 options, but we have to do both. So we start with the destroy artillery installations, and in that mission that we skipped in the new game, that is where we get the call sign Raven, which in this game is sort of a call sign for independent mercenaries who are particularly effective.
Hello? What happened?
All right.
Oh no, there is a chance for this. The game crashed. Well, I have to redo that mission, maybe. But yeah, there is a tiny chance this game will crash. I think they kind of sort of fixed it in the later patches. We are on 1.02.
Can mention that the most recent patch of this game is 1.05. Because they nerfed a lot of equipment for later versions of the game, we run on an older patch, typically on 1.02 or 1.03, depending on what category you're running. For New Game Plus, I think 1.02 is better. For New Game...
1.01.
Yeah, okay, 1.01. Then for New Game, I think 1.03. Before the Zimmermans get nerfed, having the powerful Zimmermans is very, very nice for New Game. So that, Card and Rain have done New Game Plus running, whereas I've mostly done New Game runs.
Yeah, the difference in current patch to the 1.0 and 1.02 and 1.03 is that they also nerf needles. They also nerf the stability of different parts. So a lot of stuff is actually impossible. They also made the pulse shield like extremely beefy, making a different strat impossible. So we don't run on that stuff.
Yeah, I think the most recent patch even reduced the velocity on the best set of boosters.
Oh yeah, it nerfed it pretty significantly.
1,000 speed roughly.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Maybe. Yeah, that's about maybe 1 second every, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds traveled, almost. Really ridiculous.
Yeah, so really noticeable on missions where we're just traveling, but noticeable anywhere. All right.
Oh, did we crash again?
No.
I've never actually crashed on this. Well, this is the first.
Use the... That's never happened before, folks. All right.
It's interesting.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that is quite locked up. Well, there's any one of a number of factions that could be trying to sabotage this run right now.
I don't think I've ever ran into this.
All right, minor technical glitches. Let's get some parts swapped out on the mech, see if we can get this one back up and running. But in the meanwhile, I will get us caught up with some donations that we have coming in here. I had $50 come in from Red October. Got another job for you, 621. This one comes from the PCF. Check the briefing. To all independent mercenaries, this request comes from the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The operation will take place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Your objective is to destroy cancer. The PCF looks forward to news of your success. Briefing over, and happy hunting. We also had $50 come in from Parabolic. Got a job for you, 621. Contract is for a speed run. Our target is cancer. Just do what you do best, but faster. Also a reminder, we are still working to get that upgrade on Halo to legendary difficulty. We are almost at $72,000 out of $117,000. Y'all, if we close that, we will be within striking distance of the million. You can kill two birds with one stone with these donations. Please keep them coming in. $250 towards that from Think Brown. I can't think of any game that had more impact on my adolescence than Halo, and there's certainly no better way to experience it than on Legendary. We also had $50 on that from Doinkmeister. Here's a donation for you. Put it toward the Halo Legendary difficulty incentive. We've got a $50 try that again. We've got a $50 donation in from Gillimon Dundee. Loving all the runs so far. I always look forward to tuning in every year, and GDQ never fails to make me laugh, cheer, and be flabbergasted and yell, "What?" by all the incredible runs. Thank you to all the runners, their crouch crews, and GDQ for always putting on such a great event. Thank you, Gillimon Dundee, and thank you to the tech crew as well. Doing some... We had a $150 donation come in from Interhermit. Missed a few days of donations, but thrilled to finally have made it here in person. The donations are now coming from inside the event. We've got $25 in from Reaper. You never know when you may need it, so here's a little good luck on your way. Thank you for that, Reaper, sending that one over to the tech crew. They are working hard right now to get this Armored Core 6 run coming back to you. We also had $50 in from Hamani. I love this event so much. Keep it up. $15 in from Anonymous. Y'all are amazing. Okay, so thank you for that, but no, y'all are amazing. We are almost at 900, whoa, and boom, $940,000 as I was saying it for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Y'all are amazing. And also now over $72,000 for the Halo upgrade to Legendary difficulty. Please keep it coming, this is so good. $50 from Captain Eleno. Must get that Halo upgrade. A $50 donation that I am mildly intimidated by from the Thursday donator. I am the Thursday donator. Beware my Thursday donation. That was shout outs to Thursday. That was a little intimidating, but thank you for the donation. $50 in from Dr. Pam. Thank you so much for a wonderful week of content. Sending love to everyone involved. We've got a $10 donation here from Andos. You dig giant robots. I dig giant robots. We dig giant robots. Speedrunners dig giant robots. Armored Core hype! My sincerest apologies to the soundboard operator. But if that compressor is not working, I'm not doing my job. We also had a $100 donation come in from Riley, rather. Thank you to everyone involved with GDQ. This is the highlight of my week by far. What is going on with these all caps donations? $200 here from ACAT. Machine, I have set a timer for 35 minutes. By the might of the Father, I will not forget my laundry this time. That is relatable content. $250 in from Drill the Heavens. This goes out to my brother, who had his own battle with cancer this past year and is doing great. I am donating this for the Halo CE Legendary Incentive in honor of all the legendary memories we made co-oping the Halo series together. Thank you so much for that donation. Congratulations to your brother. And wow, we're over $73,000 towards that incentive already. Again, we need to get to $117,000, so a little over $40,000 left to go. If we hit that, we're closing in on the million with great speed. Can we hit the million before the end of Armored Core 6? I would love nothing more than to have another excuse to be very excited and incredibly loud. Please keep those donations coming. Y'all, I had to mute myself to laugh a minute before reading this donation. $500 from Twin Zimmermans. Hey guys, you seem like you were having too much fun, so we thought we'd stop by. The stun needles should be here in a minute. Thank you so much. We had $5 in from the conductor. All aboard the $5 train to 1 million. Hey, you know, by train, by plane, by automobile, every donation helps us get closer to that goal and even further beyond. $25 donation in from Bionic Shell Shock. I could never forgive myself if I didn't contribute to upgrading the Halo speedrun to Legend. Wait for it. Dairy. A $117 donation in from Luxor. I think Halo is a pretty cool guy, but he might be afraid of not meeting the incentive. Well, let's see, we're now over $75,500, 64% towards that 117K. If you're just tuning in now, we are still getting some minor glitches sorting out heading into that Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon run. The mech is slightly overweight. We just have to shift the parts around and we can get it in the capacity and it's fine. And then we'll have to put in a new generator and a new booster. But let's not talk about my experience with that. Let's talk about why we are all here. I just want to remind you that this event, we are raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The Prevent Cancer Foundation is the only US-based nonprofit organization solely dedicated to cancer prevention and early detection. Through research, education, outreach, and advocacy, they have helped countless people avoid a cancer diagnosis or detect their cancer early enough to be successfully treated. They are driven by a vision of a world where cancer is preventable, detectable, and beatable for all. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. And y'all, when you donate at gamesdonequick.com, 100% of your donation is going directly to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So please keep those donations coming. We're already over $945,000 so far this week. This is incredible. Y'all are making this happen. You all are amazing. Thank you so much for staying with us and helping to support this incredible cause. I've got a $10 donation here from Emmy Elliott. I met my husband through GDQ and now a ton of my closest friends. Also, did you know that's my best friend on the mic? Hi, Shout. Hi, Emmy. Good luck to the runner. You're doing great. $20 in from Faulty Mentality. I would like to see big robots smack other big robots. And this also goes towards the Halo campaign upgrade. We are still marching towards that one, now at $76,500. Again, trying to hit that 117K, so please, gamesdonequick.com/donate. Let's keep it coming. All right, looks like the mech is finally balanced. Let's go back over to Rain on the stage for this Armored Core 6 run.
Well, I'm back. So we're gonna have to go through the replay menu because it keeps crashing. But it's gonna be essentially the same thing. We're just gonna quit out at the end of the mission. We will cut out some dialogue and some stuff like that, but it's essentially gonna be the same run. So you want to continue on the story?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we're doing on Rubicon is jobs. We're doing jobs for different factions because a number of factions want control of the coral that is on Rubicon. For example, in this mission, we're working for Arquebus. Arquebus wants us to go take out the Dafeng MT squad, which is a set of military assets under Balam. And so we're just going ahead and going to scrape those, take them out real easy. We're an AC. At this point, we are like the most powerful thing around, and we don't have anything to worry about.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're jumping from place to place. The goal with this mission is to just kind of whisk around and take out everything, hopefully in one trip. Hopefully we're firing and forgetting these missiles and they're taking care of their targets.
Oh, you will survive.
And once you hear Commander Michigan, then you know you finished the mission.
The enemy MT squad has been eliminated.
I'm just gonna quit out now.
Yeah, so
I don't want to risk the fade out crashing or anything.
Yeah.
So this is another example where now it is the people that we were just attacking, we are now going to be working for. This is a pretty typical flow for an Armored Core game where now instead of attacking Balam is hiring us to go after this group, which is the Rubiconian Liberation Front, who are a bunch of people who live on Rubicon and think that, maybe we should just leave Rubicon alone. Maybe we shouldn't exploit its resources. And the same thing, instead of this time destroying everybody, we're just focusing on the transport helicopters.
Confirmed. Target destroyed. On to the next
Cut off. Yep.
Yeah, so we don't even have to stick around. Once those helicopters are exploded, then we are good to go, and we just have to wait for Walter to tell us to come home.
Almost faded out there.
You can still quit out during the fade out, it's fine.
Up to a certain point. So I'm going to swap mechs here. So this mission is kind of sad. So we kind of have to prove ourselves as a pilot because we've only been hitting like stationary targets and stuff like that. So we're going to kill this tester pilot who's only out on the delivery. It's kind of really sad because all he wanted is to make a name for himself, and he won't.
I mean, not only will he not make a name for himself, he'll never even get a name. That's all he wants. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen. Yep. Goodbye.
Yep. But what's really interesting is he's at this helicopter. I've actually had one where he does damage, and then he just rams himself in the helicopter and just kills himself. It is one of the glitches that we can't actually replicate, and we've only seen it twice.
Yeah, just fine.
It is alt dam, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, correct.
So this one, this mission is essentially going to be like straight up auto scroller. It is timed for the most part, as long as we do this quickly. So, and we also get introduced to the red guns. I love the red guns. Red guns are so good because of Michigan. If you just listen to this dialogue, I love the characters in this game. The characters in the game is gold.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun personalities in this game. One thing that's really cool is that all the different factions have a different way of talking about the player character. So Michigan calls the player character like Gun 13, Walter calls us 621, other people call us Raven. It's sort of a fun way that in talking to us, everybody in the game characterizes themselves.
Yeah.
And I should also mention too that this is a New Game Plus run, so that means kind of two things in practice. One of those is that we already have all of the upgrades unlocked. And then another thing that's important is that Rain has saved configurations of different loadouts. So instead of going into the shop and buying and selling parts or going in and individually changing parts, Rain just goes into the AC data menu and instantly swaps to that build because we already have all the parts.
Wait, 621. I'm receiving a coded transmission.
I love Michigan. Michigan sounds so good. But we're basically going to be waiting for this call, and we're going to break these two generators. I'll be pre-firing to break this generator early. You can actually break the last one and then break the second one. It's about the same timing, but we have some time for some donations.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Gun 13. I've been looking forward to doing some raiding. Let's get in here with $25 from Jeff M. Gotta donate during Armored Core. Time to get to work, 621.
We have time for like one more while this thing flies.
And $50 in from DFS. But does it dodge roll?
Sorry, a bit quit out. So, what's it? The next mission is going to be escort mission. So the escort mission, we're going to be sent in to protect the Strider. I don't understand why the Strider exists, but we're about to see it, and you need to quit out before it fades. So, to explain the Strider, you have the floor.
So the Strider is an enormous mining robot with some interesting logic. You'll see in a second just how large it is, 5 kilometers end to end, and this is utterly impractical from a physical perspective. But like many things in this game, it gets away with it under the rule of cool. So look at that thing and just watch how fast we move, watch how little we move relative to it to get a sense of that scale.
Yeah, keep in mind, at this speed that I'm going, to go from one end to next will take an entire minute. If it's nearly 5,000 meters long, in Elden Ring scale, remember that giant map? It takes up half the map.
Enemies on the radar.
And somebody already blew it up.
621.
This is really what I would call the danger of an unaccompanied miner.
So you'll see that there's like a lot of different things going on during these like a couple of missions here. Like to break down a couple of things that are happening. The white bar at the bottom of the screen, that's EN, it's energy basically. Any form of movement that you do in terms of using your thrusters will drain that bar. And essentially all actions, like melee actions, boosting, it's called quick boosting and assault boosting. Assault boosting is essentially accelerating your speed from one point, and you can control your AC. You can quick boost during that, which allows you to dash left and right during that speed, that allows you to keep speed and dash left and right. And melee actions also take EN as well. You'll see that the weapon on the back of the AC is a Power Bunker. It's very, very, very strong. It's one of the most used weapons in the whole gun. Essentially, it just allows you to one-shot things. Yeah, you also notice that there'll be different generator colors as well. You have red, blue, and orange. There's a unique trait with red generators, which are coral generators, and they all have different stats, basically. But I'll get into that as the run progresses.
Yeah. Speaking of boosting, do you want to get into how ridiculous boosting is?
Yeah, so if you watch during the run, there's a little indicator on the left side of the screen. It indicates the AC's current speed in kilometers per hour. And we were watching it, and when he boosts, it jumps to something like 300 or 600 kilometers per hour in a fraction of a second. It's something like 6 or 10 frames. And if you math that out, that means that the pilot's being subjected to upward of 2,000 Gs in some cases. And that is no longer a pilot. This game becomes Jello cold.
Yeah, blacking out is the best outcome, to say the least. But we're using a very specific mech. It is extremely heavy. We're overburned. Everything is red, but we use it for a very specific reason. This loadout completely destroys Juggernaut for whatever reason. Don't move. Okay, thanks.
You'll notice that the thruster colors are blue here, which basically means that this generator has higher energy proficiency, meaning that energy weapons will do more damage. That's very unlucky.
Oh my god, and I missed that one too? Alright, cool.
The boss on this mission is weak to energy weapon type, so we basically manufactured an AC that's efficient in DPS and in burst. You'll see at the boss fight how efficient it is. But
This mission, this wall is essentially like the size of like the Pacific Rim wall. If you've ever seen that movie, it also doesn't. This mission also doesn't make sense because why would we take this slow elevator when we can just fly up there? But just to talk about scale, that is a human-sized door, right? This mech is like 10 meters tall. It's like 4 or 5 stories, and this is ridiculous, right? And we're taking this elevator, and this elevator takes quite a while to go up. So the scale in this game is off the charts.
Something about this size probably you could make work, but that giant robot from the last one would collapse under its own weight.
That's the juggernaut. Heavy mobile.
we'll see the application of flamethrowers here, which is only used once in the entire run, but it's very, very efficient at literally destroying the juggernaut. So he'll do 3 shots here, and he'll do a charge 4th shot.
Ooh,
and
I
it will
think I
essentially
saved
just
Rusty.
completely destroy it. So yeah, some trivia. There's dialogue on this mission that essentially it's like a mini reward for finishing the boss before Rusty is ready to leave, and you get extra dialogue. Saves 1 second.
Yep, and Rusty doesn't leave us.
Take care of mopping up the
Hey,
remaining
buddy boy. Everybody loves Rusty. Blue Haze Rusty. He's. Oh, I gotta quit out. That was. I hope that was not gonna crash. So we're about to go. Dang it! I forgot to switch mechs. You think I can still do this with this mech?
Yeah, that's not a problem. No, you can absolutely do it with this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna swap
We'll
out.
just do the
later.
same thing.
But yeah, PMC, you want to explain this mission? Because in this mission, Rusty helps us, and we learn more about Rusty in this mission.
Yeah, so in that last mission, we had just met Rusty, our buddy, for the first time. And it turns out that now Balam wants to know some more about, this Rusty guy. And really, we all want to know more about Rusty, I think. And so the focus of this mission is that there are a number of wrecks on this battlefield that have, or potentially may have, information about Rusty. And so this is like a good example of a mission where we are just dropping all of our parts and flying from place to place because we're trying to get all those data logs as quickly as possible. You notice a timer on screen, but that timer does go away once we have checked every possible wreck. So we are still incentivized to get from wreck to wreck as quickly as possible.
So we're actually doing these mechs in very specific order because if we do it in any other order, there is extra dialogue that happens. So we don't want to do that extra dialogue because it loses like 5 to 10 seconds or something like that. So we're gonna do this in a very specific order. Also, we don't have to deal with Z.
Yeah, AC that we don't know the name of usually. We never fight her ever.
I legit have never looked at her name till this moment.
Same.
But we've checked out every promising wreck.
One thing to note here is that AC speed is really important in this game. It doesn't actually save that much time in the grand scheme of things, but over the whole run, it definitely does save a lot of time. We utilize a thing called purging, which is essentially cleansing weapons that make your AC lighter, therefore you move faster. So,
specifically on that, over the course of like 3 end bars, you can be as slow as like 30 speed, but past that point, it's very specific. It gets more pronounced. So we definitely want to be as light as can be with as much energy as possible.
yes.
So here we want to go right. If we go left, there's a chance to have this mech that I'm gonna kill get stuck behind a wall. We don't want that to happen. I did not break that.
Subject guard sentry MTs. Watch out for the
This guy.
Nice.
We're clear.
So these duo LCs are about to see. I hate these guys. I don't even know what to do with these.
Yeah, PCA fights tend to be very tricky in this game. It's a specific faction that we'll get into at a later point, but they tend to be designed on speed and they're very tricky to actually hit.
Looks like you're
and they can really time bleed on pretty much every mission. that has
And
speed
those
control.
are like the basic LCs too. Later on,
Yeah.
we'll see like more specialized ones.
Be ready for company if her plan to ambush
And the time bleed is like even more significant based on like how much of a threat they are, I suppose.
But we also get
inside the arsenal.
to basically fight with Kate Markson. While I deal with this fight, you want to explain who Kate Markson is?
Yeah, sure. So at this point in the game, Card and Rain were just talking about the PCA, which is a faction that we kind of get introduced to earlier here in a New Game Plus playthrough. But also, we are implicitly, through this and the escort mission, getting introduced to another faction, which is All Mind, which is kind of the All Mind being the most important faction in a sense in this New Game Plus playthrough. Kate Markson isn't a real person. Kate Markson is sort of a facet of All Mind. And we discover that later because we'll hear her voice in the context of All Mind. But right now, we are being used by All Mind to counter some of the PCA's activities here earlier than we would have on a previous playthrough on New Game or the very first New Game Plus playthrough. Oops.
No, don't go move.
So one thing to note here, this game has a ridiculous snowball effect in the sense of when things go wrong, they really go wrong, and the game will really like give you obscene angles, etc., that you just can't work with, and you'll really just lose a lot of time from. Like for instance here, the setup didn't go well, and everything just completely went out of control. So it still went well regardless, I think.
No, this is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean you almost died, so it could be worse.
Luckily, Kate Markson, her loadout is actually very strong. She can actually handle one of these mechs by herself. She also probably is the best AI in this game or ally in this game because she actually helps us.
All special forces craft destroyed. We're done here.
You can see there too, one of those enemies said it really is Raven because they think we're somebody else, and more on that later.
So this next mission that we're about to go in is Watchpoint. Watchpoint is notorious in a casual playthrough. It is the first casual wall that you'll face. Is extremely difficult fight, and you really have to start learning how to play Armored Core, essentially.
Yeah, the game really it teaches you how to play on this mission essentially. I think every player just once they hit this wall, they really have to play to a certain standard to get past the boss. And, yeah, it definitely applied to me in my first playthrough.
Yeah, I actually took almost 3 hours, and I still didn't beat it, but that was specifically because to play Armored Core, you have to tinker your mechs. I had the starting game weapons, and I refused to tinker my mech.
Yeah, I was like very stubborn with mine. I ran dual pistols, that was it.
I had the Turner, the starting weapon, and the plasma sword. So I was basically doing nothing. So we're about to face Sula.
Yeah, we have a
Hopefully this
minute
goes
coming
well.
up here.
621, stop. Behind you.
Dang.
Yeah, the AC versus AC fights are always exciting in all Armored Core series games, and that continues to be very true in Armored Core 6.
This is actually an alt mission because we're doing true ending. These mechs are usually not here.
Yeah, in this route, the missions are altered slightly. Basically, essentially, when you finish this game, it grants you a new route, and it changes the missions to a degree, and that basically unlocks more and more missions as you finish the game, up to 3 playthroughs. And this has the maximum route bonus. But it also changes the route a lot towards the end game.
There's also a chance that they get got in while I'm actually killing Sula. And in the middle of me trying to pile bunker Sula, they can actually stagger me out of it. So we're about to break a generator. It is actually a pretty significant generator because when it explodes, we actually unleash the coral stored in it for a brief moment, and then we get air in our mech, who's essentially our Cortana.
Yes?
Yeah, if Cortana was made of like a substance that you could put in an engine tank, but you could also eat, then yeah, yes.
We have Balteus here. This is the first critical boss of the game, I would say, and it's literally going to get destroyed because
Oh, no.
We worked very hard. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the setup.
Trying to show off a specific
What?
setup here.
Yeah, we worked very hard at getting this up to be very consistent, but this is basically a 13-second kill, essentially, and it's never going to be faster than that. It's just not possible for it to go any faster than that at this point. Oh, you got it. No.
So, yeah, that's what it is. I actually messed up there. You should have died like way earlier, but he's dead. So next mission coming up. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk about like the fact that it may not seem like it, but there actually is tech being used here, like specifically kicking, and Rain is actually animation canceling like shots with weapon swapping, which allows him to get Pile Bunker out faster, meaning he can do more damage. So yeah, you'll see that over the whole run. Quite hard to see it, but it's happening all the time pretty much.
But yeah, in this next mission, we're about to fight Rummy Madstomp. He actually has amazing death yell.
Yeah.
Is the sound. He really likes his name. He's basically a Pokemon because he likes to say Madstomp a lot. So hopefully he does not troll me. This game loves to troll you and just rob you of stuff. I like to call this. Yeah, I call this. Wait. Mad Stomp!
Yeah, don't tell anyone I was mad.
But yeah, this game really likes to rob you. It's essentially like Armored Core Fires of Robbery. Like there are several times where the Pile Bunker, even though it's like a perfect setup, would just whiff or do no damage, or any number of other things that could possibly happen.
Yeah, and because we purge, we don't have any other options to beat the ACs. So essentially it's just a reset in a run because we full purge because we want to get that maximum speed increase. And yeah, if you miss Power Bunker and you miss AA, which is Assault Armor by the way, which is that giant force field that comes out of the AC, it can put ACs into ACS Overload, which is a stagger essentially, and you can get a direct hit, which is why the Power Bunker does so much damage. But if you miss Assault Armor, the cooldown is like 30 seconds. So you are losing 30 seconds if you full purge and you have nothing to kill the AC with. So really a dead run at that point. Nice. That's an example that right there of the Power Bunker. It's still the damage, by the way.
So we're about to fight our our third significant boss, the Cleaner. This boss is specifically designed for you to preferably use the tetrapods, which have extremely powerful hovering mechanics. I do not have the tetrapods, so we won't be doing that.
Yeah, we're going to apply this directly to the face.
Yep.
I'm right there.
So,
see, that's the face.
Yep. It's not too tricky of a setup, but essentially you have to jump at the right timing and hover slightly and land in front of the face in Assault Armor. Assault Armor has really good stagger bonus, and you can essentially stagger bosses like instantly with it sometimes. So it's very, very good to stagger bosses straight away, get that Power Bunker cooldown, and you get more than one usage.
Now that was kind of sort of fast. I actually messed up there. That's actually not the fastest it can die, but this mech saves time overall in the mission. But you want to go into how this Cleaner even works?
I mean, every mech in this game has a really interesting design. The ACs are humanoid, the MTs are vaguely humanoid, but all of these other ones are purpose-built. And one of the most characteristic things about them is their method of locomotion. So giant legs are good for getting over terrain. Wheels are good for rolling quickly over it. Flying around is just cool, but it's energy intensive, so you wouldn't use it all the time. And that thing was all arms.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be on rails. It didn't look like it actually used any rails, but I'm not sure. There's actually two Cleaners in this game that you would actually fight. We only fight one of them.
Right, in this category, you'll only be fighting that Cleaner.
But it's a pretty involved mission. This is actually my favorite mission. At first, when we were routing this, well, I was routing this mission, it was horrible because of the last fight. But then I learned to really like this mission. We also get to see Iguazu again. And he
It's honestly the
is
first
pretty
time I've
petty.
seen this. Wild.
Okay, that's definitely never happened before.
You'll see that like assault boost and quick boost at the same time here are allowing Rain to like get around corners very fast, and it's really important to optimize on every mission. Like movement is so important.
Yeah,
It may not seem like it, but it really is.
yeah, we're basically waiting for this door to open.
Yeah, and across like direct lines too, sometimes if you have the excess energy, you can move at a diagonal, but then kind of quick boost to correct, and that ends up giving you a vector of movement that's faster.
So here's Iguazu.
Everyone's favorite, Iguazu.
See ya, Iguazu.
The greatest hater to ever do it. Thank you, Iguazu.
Any double kills?
Maybe.
I believe. Oh, maybe.
No, that missed.
Close. Essentially, just tried to go for a double kill here. Assault armor's really wide. Oh, that was nice. Power bunker hit twice. Nice.
That was
So he's trying to
extremely
stagger
lucky.
both with AA. Yeah.
No more enemies detected.
But yeah, that,
I love it when that happens.
that fight is actually dangerous because they can actually stun lock me and just destroy me. That's happened like a few times already.
Unidentified machines were using
Yeah, as Cart said earlier, there's always a chance for things to snowball out of control in any one of these fights.
encrypt them.
Yeah, you can just suddenly die. Like, things can be perfectly fine, and you'll suddenly just die, and you'll be like, okay. Okay, I see. That's how it is.
But this next mission is also another cat. I keep forgetting to change my mech.
Yes.
It's okay. I'll just go die by the lasers or something like that. But in the meantime, can we get, I think, like 5 donations?
Gun 13, I thought you'd never ask. Let's start with a $25 donation from the Tester AC pilot. Hey, Raven, it's me, the Tester AC pilot from the 5th mission. Just wanted to let you know I'm actually okay and no hard feelings. I'll get my own call sign one day, just like you. I'll tell you what, pilot, if you can handle 2,000 G's without complaining, I'll give you a Iguazu spot on the team myself. I've also got a $100 donation here from Iruru Cece. Gun 13, your ability to ruin my field trips is uncanny.
I love it.
And a quick announcement from Balaam
Very
HQ.
good.
I'm told that there's going to be a donation train starting at the 30-minute mark. Whoever crosses the finish line for the legendary incentive becomes an honorary red gun. Keep them coming.
I do need a different setup that I forgot to put on. So hopefully,
Are we gonna?
Please?
Yeah, you can
Hello?
cross you can cross and it will kill you. There's 2 lasers that will hit you here. So he's gonna die here because he's accident that.
okay.
Are you gonna Mr. McGee your way through the lasers, or?
Hello?
He's gonna die here so he can swap his AC on death. That's what's supposed to happen, but he's accidentally dodging the really hard to dodge lasers.
I'm not even moving.
Oh man.
So I want
Now you
this
can
mech.
swap it out. Perfect.
So, do you want to explain the squids that we're seeing right now? Because I don't really understand how these work.
So I don't know if those are killer lasers or if they're targeting lasers. But targeting and sensing in general with lasers is a pretty common technique even today. Nothing's faster than light. And if you ever look at a robot that is trying to sense with lasers through an infrared camera, actually it does look a lot like that. You will actually see the beam depending on how much dust and other particulate matters in the air.
So this is the next boss. I'm gonna let Card explain this while I focus. Hopefully this thing dies in like 24 seconds.
So even at the start there, Rain used assault armor to destroy all the drones. If you miss one, it can be pretty bad. But yeah, this boss is the Sea Spider. It's very strong. It's very, very, very optimized, I'd say. It's probably one of the most optimized bosses in the game. It has insane damage. It's very slow, but it's really easy to die to this boss. And we're utilizing the power bunker and assault armor essentially to just stagger it out and deal as much damage as possible. This boss is all about getting power bunker off cooldown as much as you can. Well done, that was really good.
Yeah, so I do damage in a very specific way. There are some thresholds to hit, because if you don't do enough damage, I'm not gonna take this cargo thing because it ends the mission. But I do a very specific amount of damage. You also have to not use specific moves because it might reset the stagger, which would cause them to go into P2, and that wastes like 20 seconds, and it flies up, and it becomes even more dangerous. And in the air, it becomes even harder to kill it. So obviously, I don't want that.
When it enters phase 2, it has like power armor, and you can't deal damage to it for a duration, pretty much.
So this next mission, so in the last mission, we took that cargo launcher and it launched us essentially over the ocean. PMC, you want to go more into this mission and why we even did that?
Yeah, so everyone wants to know what's going on with this coral thing on Rubicon. We're all trying to find the coral that did this. And what we're looking for is that it seems to be in an ice field, there is some active coral, and some other people have beat us here. And so instead of replicating that hard work ourselves, we're just going to steal that work and take it for our own from the rival corporation.
This mission is essentially just an auto-scroller. Well, it's a glorified auto-scroller. Like, I actually messed up a couple times. I actually lost time. But you do it right and get to a very specific spot, which will be there in just a second. It just becomes auto-timed, and we don't really have to worry about time loss too much.
What are you doing here?
We also, it's essentially scripted. And then we actually get to see our first PCA warship.
Yeah, so we're having a party here, and then someone called the cops, and the cops are going to crash the party. Which is regrettable.
Yep, indeed. I just wanted to touch on one thing I mentioned about generators earlier. So typically in the run, we're going to use the Santai and the NGI. The NGI is a coral generator. One thing about the coral generator is that the post-EN supply comes after a larger duration than, say, if you were to run a orange generator, which is a Santai generator. So the reason why using NGI generator / coral generator is so hard is because you have 4 seconds before you get that supply back. With Santai generator, it comes back in 1 second. So obviously, because movement is so important in this game and assault boosting is so important, using NGI can be really tricky, and you can run out of EN at really awkward times and even fall to your death sometimes, and yeah, it can be really awful. Oh, that's such a shame. You got the recovery though, that's good.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's really on a cap. As long as you don't do it too slowly, it's fine.
Are we gonna go?
Yeah, because we're still waiting for the return of that warship to make a second pass.
Which will be very soon.
It's funny, it completely fades out. You can literally watch it and it disappears.
Now, anyone who's watched a science fiction show knows that there's only one way to kill a giant spaceship, and that is crumple the bridge.
With the power bunker.
Intercept 621.
Enemy propulsion systems compromised.
It's going to blow. Get clear, 621.
And yeah, so this is at this point in the beginning of Chapter 3, this is the big introduction of the PCA, especially on a new game run that you wouldn't have encountered any of their forces before. This would be their complete introduction. And now we have a big new player with a lot of fancy toys that we're going to have to all crush and destroy.
Yeah, the PCA have actually always been on the planet, but we didn't really deal with them that much. But we kind of went in their wheelhouse, essentially. and they don't want us here
Yeah, they really, really don't want us here now.
because we're trying to get to the coral, or where we think the coral is, essentially.
And so
This
now
is the
begins
first
the
mission.
now begins the era of attacking PCA resources. We're going to try and undermine them here. We're going to destroy their fuel.
So this upcoming fight, it's not that difficult. It can go very wrong very easily, just like every fight in this game. But we also get this. Actually, Inspection has these PCA mechs. I actually really like these mechs. They look like frogs. But yeah, we're gonna be flying forward. I actually let the energy recharge there. It's actually faster than just getting in our EN bar. Hopefully I don't fall.
Yeah,
and we use this depot to get my weapons back.
The benefit of Coral Generator is that with other generators, the supply that you gain, oh nice, perfect. The supply that you gain is really low when you're in the air. When you're grounded, you're going to get a full EN bar back. But if you're in the air with the Coral Generator, you get a full bar anyway. So it lets you fly. And essentially that's what Rain did, was just fly across the mission here because it's literally faster. A really important fight coming up.
This perfect. Oh my god!
Oh, that's such a shame.
Oh, don't die. This is the snowball effect.
Yeah, this is the snowball effect. Duo fights are really rough with the snowball effect because obviously there's two entities, so they both do crazy damage and they can both stagger you at any point. Nice, got one.
What?
Just
Where'd
the
you
other one
go?
left now. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
This guy actually kicked me. Luckily,
Yeah,
the
that
sword
was
mech.
crazy.
Yeah, the sword mech actually can just stab you and just like straight up just hold you, and that can actually kill me unless I AA out of it. But we don't want that to ever happen. That was actually extremely unlucky.
They are an executioner squad after all. They are supposed to do a lot of damage.
So this next mission is our first stealth mission. I don't know why this game is in the game. This is not a stealth game. It's a neat idea, and it lasts 20 seconds. But at the end of the mission, we meet V7 Swinburne. And just like Mad Stomp, he has an amazing death scream.
Would you describe giant robots as stealthy?
You know, it depends what they're made of and what kind of sensors you're trying to be stealthy against. Different characteristics will reflect differently against different methods of detection. It's a little loud. I don't know that you'd necessarily.
So
be
hope
able
they
to-
don't hear. Hope they don't hear.
That's
you.
right. If everybody's got their ears plugged, then maybe you can bounce the radar off it and hope they also don't have cameras.
That's how usually I approach stealth. I just hope they don't see me.
Hopefully this guy
Yeah,
corroborates.
hopefully this goes well. This is really awkward if it goes bad.
And then he's gonna go. Wait,
Oh,
no,
perfect.
please.
Awesome.
I love his death scream. So this is actually the first instance where NGI is specifically better than Santai for AI manip. For some reason, if you go with Santai, which is the yellow generator, he actually turns towards you faster and puts up his shield faster. I have no clue why that's the case. There's another instance of it happening. So it's a good thing we're using NGI. I actually had to make that strat like 2 days ago, just to make sure like it works out. And we want to go into about this mission because this is another mission that kind of doesn't make sense because we're trying to go, sabotage the PCA here because they essentially found like coral here, and since we can't get the coral, we don't want them to get the coral, so we're here to sabotage them. But this is a very small generator. But you're about to see in a sec how is it possible for this small generator to cause this much damage?
I mean, it's the magic of Coral. No one knows how it's going to work. So here, once we blow up this derelict device, suddenly all hell breaks loose, and the Coral comes gushing forth from the bowels of Rubicon.
Like,
I get that you would build something like a geothermal generator near the source of the power. It's important to the way that it works. But this looks less like a generator and more like a cork that you just popped.
I mean, there is a faction of enemies in this game that use Coral like a substance to abuse, the dozers. So maybe this is just that idea. Maybe, yeah, it is just a big cork.
but yeah, we essentially just explode everything, and Coral is just erupting like crazy out of that small generator. The ravine underneath was empty, and now it's filled with like coral liquid and all that stuff. And how is that even remotely possible? We have no idea.
Coral makes it possible.
Now, what's it? Okay, we're gonna go here. Oh, I use my coral needles. So this mission specifically, we're gonna see Father Thumb Domayan. That's part of, who is it?
He is the ideological leader of the Rubicon Liberation Front.
Yeah, he's part of the Overseers. Now,
Well, no, the Rubicon Liberation Front, the Overseers are not allies.
Yeah, they're separate.
Yeah, they're separate.
Oh, then who's the Overseers?
The Overseers are Handler, Walter, and Carl, but that's a secret. We don't know that yet. Well, we do. It's a New Game Plus.
Oh, well, we know now. But Domayan, it has a very specific setup. It's in the air. If you go too high, you actually get messed up by the helicopter, and it's just GG. If you go too low, the power bunker just stops working like it likes to do. And we also have to fight him, and he is a very beefy boy. He has like 20k effective HP. My power bunker does like 10k in stagger. It's a pretty important setup, because if I don't get it, everything just starts spiraling.
This is the first time we use needles as well, right? These are the needles. They are very strong weapons. They're,
Where's the
well,
safe?
on this patch, they are probably the strongest shoulder weapons in the game. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of slow. He actually came out extremely slow, and then I missed a building.
Yeah, they can be awful fights, those ones.
Let's check it out. Raven, that's the
I'm gonna
last
make
of the
sure
back after this.
I get this kill. So this helicopter is gonna come out. Luckily, we don't have to fight this helicopter. Domayan's gonna fly in, and I need to do a very specific setup.
Raven, apologies for the intrusion. You have been followed. Contact is imminent.
Yes.
Oh, I survived.
So close.
Yeah, well, you want to talk
Only
about the
AC in the
Liberation
game,
fight?
Call sign Raven.
Yeah, so
Coral generates.
the Liberation Front kind of has an interesting relationship with the Rubicon, because they sort of want to live with it, but they recognize all the different threats to it. And in this case, Dalmayan is recognizing the threat that Allmind presents to Rubicon, because it's not just Arquebus and Balam, the corporations. There's another threat to Rubicon, as we are discovering here, especially on the third playthrough, the New Game Plus playthrough.
Domayan's actually extremely special in that he is actually one of the only other pilots with Gen 1 augmentations, right? Think about it like Spartan 2s versus Spartan 3s, right? And the Gen 1 augmentations actually has a side effect of people hearing voices, specifically voices from Coral. The other Gen 1, the Gen 2 augmentations that... Oh, I forgot to do this mission. Oh, well, it's okay. The Gen 2 augmentations don't have it. So people like Snail and Iguazu, they don't have that side effect. So what it hints at is that we have the Gen 1 augmentation, so we actually get air and we can listen to air. And it's hinted that Domayan also has his own air. That's why he, I wouldn't say religious, but he has very specific dialogue for us. But this is going to be essentially a turret defense, so I'm just going to be killing things as fast as possible.
Well, then speaking of voices, Gun 13, you got time for some donations.
All right, you can do like 5, and then Edge has the floor to talk about whatever you want.
Fantastic. Let's start with a $250 donation from handler Walter with 621. I'll give you a reason to donate to the PCF. Let's see that Halo Legendary run. Well, glad we got that out of the way. Checking it. My goodness, we are almost at $80,000 out of $117,000. You all are making this worth something. See what you can do to get us there maybe a little bit faster, or I'll send you over to Arcbus. I've also got $50 here from Gizmo Squigglebug. Had to donate during the Armored Core Fires of Rubicon, an amazing game in an amazing series. What better way to prevent cancer than by blowing up giant mechs and being an absolute menace to the entire planet? More, let's see what that Halo Legendary run and menace a few more worlds. Getting closer there. $5 here from Silver Inferno. Gun 13, we got a $5 train running straight to $1 million now. And make sure we upgrade that Halo run to Legendary. Choo-choo, maggots! Choo-choo!
All right, Edge, you have the floor. You have roughly 3 minutes. Actually, more like 4.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to talk about in any giant mech or mecha game, right? And one of the elephants in the room is, should these things really be flown by human pilots? We've discussed that the character 621 is an augmented human, and that augmentation is not, simple cybernetics or anything like that. It's actually rooted in Coral, and Coral is completely impenetrable to my mind, so I'll just assume it's possible. When we really deal with situations about high-performance vehicles, the human physiology is almost always one of the limiting factors. In fact, Dan, who is a space scientist, will come on a little after this and tell us even more about that. But if you were going to run this as some kind of a unit that needed to have a human involved, a nice compromise that we're starting to see more of in the robotics research space is something called collaborative robotics or cobotics. Kate actually had a little drone that hovered with her. And that partnership between a human operator and a robot is something that has a lot of potential, because then you have multiple bodies to work with. One of them may be more important to protect than the other. And you can utilize the unique capabilities and advantages of each, right? So as a human, you have unique decision-making capabilities. They've stated that AIs in this universe just don't perform as well as humans, especially this particular human. But then you've got other things that the drone is just better at. It's mechanically not going to make aiming or little precision mistakes. And so you would send it to go do those mechanically precise, but overall not very complicated or smart tasks, and certainly not tasks that have to do with some of the most fundamental questions that make this game what it is, and those are questions of philosophy and ethics. So do not ask the robot to make ethical choices for you, like the difference between your different endings.
You still have like 2 minutes.
You know what? I got a lot of things to say. Another thing that I've been finding interesting is reading through the lore and the ability to reconfigure the robot is just what powers all of these things. The more I've watched you play this game, the more I've realized that they are trying, in many places, to hew pretty close to real-world physics. So I haven't seen any anti-gravity. I actually haven't seen just crazy things that science fiction authors frequently take liberties with. Yes, things accelerate fast, but walking things walk. They're heavy. That giant Strider robot may not have been a particularly smart choice to make it a walking robot, or to make it quite so enormous, because, I mean, even if it worked well, if you got that giant load of extracted material back to your processing plant, I mean, why would you want it to all come in at once, right? You really want to space it out so your processing plant can run at a nice constant pace. So, putting aside things that are really just sacrifices on the altar of rule of cool, There's lots to go with. Coral itself remains an utter mystery. I don't know how it works. Is it liquid? Is it solid? Is it matter? It seems transportable. How do you use it for power and then turn around and eat it and then turn around and talk to it? Some questions I suppose we'll never know the answer to.
Well, yeah, as we get closer to where the PCA is trying to get to, you'll start seeing like more of this. This is actually caused by the fire of the Ibis for like 50 years ago. This is also the grid, essentially. We were on this at grid 86. How these structures are made is completely absurd. They should not even remotely exist or even stay up there. But this next mission, we're gonna fight the Cataphract. Card, can you explain this guy?
So this boss in particular, it's one of the only bosses that actually doesn't appear immediately. He drives in, and most of the strats right now consist of trying to stagger him while he comes in. There's a couple of other strats for it. I use a different strat personally. I'll get into that in a sec, but Rain is essentially trying to maximize his damage and burst him as fast as possible because it snowballs so badly. That still went well. Well done. Yeah, you just want to stop him before he snowballs because he's going to drive everywhere. He's going to ruin your day. So yeah. One thing I'd like to touch upon here, in New Game Plus, when you're playing on 1.0, there's a damage glitch on a weapon that we use. It's called the Coral Launcher damage glitch, I guess. And you can clip projectiles inside of the hitbox of the boss, and it will do like 5 times the damage. So you can essentially one-shot this boss, and it's one of the only one-shottable bosses in the game. It's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually on 1.02, so I don't have access to that glitch. I kind of don't want to use it, but because it kind of pigeonholes you in certain aspects. But luckily in this game, while we were routing it, interestingly, I've actually never seen Cards run, and he's never actually like fully watched my run. So essentially, this run, which is kind of going this run is essentially like my own personal project. Just like Card run, we actually have fairly different mechs. So in terms of variety for this run, there is actually quite a bit of leeway to make your own personal mech, essentially.
Yeah,
so it's
really cool.
interesting.
Yeah, like most of the runners actually all have different routes. Like it's very surprising that there's no definitive way of playing the game, which is really interesting in my opinion, because it really shows that there's difference in playstyle and people have got emphasis on different skill sets, etc. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
It's not only like, all right, whose strat's the best, whose flight line is the best, whose mech is faster. It's also the logistics of how does this mech handle in this mission, and does it span several missions so we could reduce the swaps, and with like 30-odd parts per arm, per shoulder, different cores, different legs, different arms, different SCS, different thrusters. The possible permutations was staggering to even like filter through for just us two.
And I should mention too, there are about 18 or so new game category runners, and they're still, even in what is a smaller possibility space, there is a lot of deviation between runners. So if the possibility space of New Game Plus is too big, you are always welcome to run New Game. I say that to anyone watching.
So here, we basically came to Spaceport because, again, we don't like the PCA. And this is actually where they birth their warships. So we're basically destroying all of it so that the PCA obviously has less warships. And this fight coming up, I hate this fight. This fight is so bad. Hopefully this goes well. This is already going horrible. Attack me? No? Okay, yeah.
PCA fights just have a tendency to snowball so hard, especially this one. They're tanky and they deal a lot of damage. And One of them is very fast and will move everywhere, get caught on everything. You can't see where he is, you can't know where he is, you can't touch him.
Like there,
Everything
I
misses.
have no idea where he was.
Yeah, like, and then when you stagger him, you're too far away to get a pile off. Luckily, Ren got it very well.
They are also very dangerous. I've actually,
Yes.
in one of my PBs, I actually had like 19 health while they were all just bombarding me. So I managed to pull through. But now we have like 2 minutes or so where something unexpected is going to pop up. Edge, you have the floor to talk about this thing.
Well, we'll see it when we see it, but I'll say that it's based on a real category of robots. Whoever designed the bosses in this game really did their homework, because there's little aspects of very purposeful, very real design in here. And how long we got till it actually show? Ooh, hello. So this robot is a very many segmented snake, and while it for sure looks really awesome, it is also an incredibly smart design. So every one of those segments is completely self-contained. It can be armored, they can be modular, sometimes you can add or remove sections, but based on how they choose to move in the robot, they could curl up to be compact and transportable. They could extend off the ground for height. It can go flat, it can go straight. There was a version of a snake robot that was being designed for heart surgery because it can get in between the other organs without causing problems. So that is a masterpiece of design, and I really appreciate the time that they took to research that.
So we're about to get swapped out. So this next mission, we're be spending most of the flying. We just saw the worm, and we want to destroy the worm because it's actually protecting.
Hey, Rain, real quick.
Yes?
Just want to take a moment to thank Edge Case for the commentary so far. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Can we get a round of applause, please? I'd also like to take this moment to welcome our new commentator. Rebel Knight 3000 is Dr. Daniel Nagasawa, pardon me, a space scientist, which is the best job title ever from the National Academy of Sciences. Thank you so much for joining us up there.
Really happy to be here, guys. Thanks.
I almost didn't hear him. But we're going to be flying forward. You wanted to say something about this area.
Yeah, so Ross actually teed me up for this because he mentioned no anti-gravity, and I mean, we have a city here floating in the sky. I'm going to just default to BioShock Infinite floating city balloons, but this one I had a little trouble with imagining floating city on those spindly little legs, because you have gravity, you know, pushing down on this whole structure, probably going to collapse.
I need to deplete my bar, but we are trying to kill the worm.
Well, right now we're trying to do some honest work.
Yep. The reason he's named Honest Brute, also he can go horribly wrong. He's also very dangerous. He has a chainsaw and flamethrower and like all this stuff. By honest, he was trying to ambush us, but luckily we can actually ambush him back, and he actually has a unique dialogue for it. But we came here specifically for this giant railgun. How this thing works, what ammo it uses, I have no idea, but all I know is Rusty is the one who fires it, and we trust Rusty with our life.
Who doesn't?
Mm-hmm. Because he's buddy.
Yeah.
So this next mission, there's supposed to be like a PCA fight going on, and we're sent by Walter to check it out. But no one's here except Raven, the person we took the call sign from.
Yeah.
It is a very difficult fight. And just like any AC fight, we're going to say hi to Raven. And fail.
Oh, no. He pieced right out.
That's unfortunate. But while I try to dispatch this guy, Card, you want to explain what's wrong with your game?
I love this boss. That's basically the TLDR with it. For some reason, this boss doesn't function for me properly. I don't know why. but on approach, he has like a praying mode kind of stance, I guess. And essentially, he won't attack you until you go a certain distance. But for me, when I approach this boss, he just travels to the far left corner of the arena and doesn't stop. He just keeps going, and I can literally never get a clean kill on this boss, and it's the main reason why I never get successful runs right now. I don't know why it happens, and Rain can't rectify it. It's only me that has this issue.
Yes, I've tried to replicate it for hours. I am unable to. So Card's game, after multiple patches and all that stuff, is the only one with it. So he's just cursed. But this mission is essentially another auto-scroller. So Rebel, you have the floor to talk about whatever you want.
So what I wanted to talk about in this scene is really interesting because we are on an alien world, and I mean, I'm assuming Earth gravity here, but what I want to point out is what you're blowing up, which are helicopters, and I think that's really neat because we've only just started learning how to fly in alien atmospheres. Shout out to the Mars Ingenuity team, who just had a very successful flight campaign on Mars, so we are actually flying a helicopter on Mars. And now we're actually trying to fly a nuclear-powered octocopter on the Saturn moon of Titan. And that's actually, it's a really interesting idea of using robotic mobility, aerial mobility for science purposes in space science. And I mean, Ross also teed this up that there's a nice also symbiosis between Ingenuity, which we are now using for reconnaissance, for the Perseverance rover, which is collecting samples on Mars. So I mean, I know they're just cannon fodder for you right now, but I actually quite enjoy the fact that we've figured that out to the point where we're actually flying heavy lift helicopters on another planet.
There's still 4 more waves.
Yeah, there's quite a few here. This is one of the missions that only appears on a third playthrough or later, and it starts out slow, but it catches up with you eventually. There's a lot of helicopters.
Yeah, I also have the wrong generator on, unfortunately, but it's fine. It's roughly the same as long as these helicopters die quickly. These MTs are actually pretty dangerous. They've almost killed me a few times. So we'll probably clear them out later.
So we've said the phrase MT a few times. I feel like I should do a quick definitional Armored Core lore check.
Yeah, MTLC.
So MT usually refers to a muscle tracer, which is a lesser class of piloted robot. Those are, in most games, going to be weaker than the AC, the Armored Core. And so that is, it's a code word for, a lesser enemy. Unless sometimes they get big. Sometimes you run into a very big one, and then suddenly they are a big deal.
So, I've been playing this game for about a week and a half now. I had no idea that that's what it stood for.
Yeah, no, that's...
I didn't know what it stood for.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it in Armored Core 6. I'm pretty sure it's still a muscle tracer. It definitely is that in the older games. But I'm sure someone will let me know.
Yeah, I don't think they're piloted either. So essentially the only humans on this planet are the ACs because they went through a
They're definitely piloted.
No, I don't think they're piloted.
Yeah, they're definitely. Well, we're gonna have to settle this later.
No, because they
LCs and stuff.
possibly
and the spaceships, the PCA ships.
I'm not entirely sure, but there is
and
a
medium
log
cavalry.
that Edge saw earlier where they went through a period of AI piloted mechs and such like that.
I think I was talking about mechs generally.
Yeah, until the ACs were. Oh my god. No, don't leave. Okay. Until the ACs came through. So there's some level. That's kind of.
I think we're saying that the human piloted ACs are better than the AI piloted ACs because that's something that comes up later. It's a mission that we're not going to play, but when Freud destroys Chatty in a different ending, that is one of the things that's like Freud is very dismissive of AI-based ACs.
So this next mission is where we actually destroy a worm.
Yeah, it's time to go fight a worm.
I have my Ronald
With a giant
McDonald
rail
mech.
gun.
Giant railgun, that's
This
right.
is a massive run killer, by the way. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Trivial to lose time on this mission.
Use mouse for the first shot. Make sure this works out. Okay.
Michigan will take command.
Hopefully I get the third when I need to listen.
Agreement. Move out, maggots. Time to die. Act like a professional outfit and you might live.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. So in order to kill this boss, you need to take down a preliminary shield using specifically that needle gun. That projectile has a relatively slow speed, and you have to do that in order to let Rusty then take the shot he's about to take, and then we actually deal damage to the health bar. And we repeat that cycle 3 times. And there, Rain actually, he's been playing on a pad, but switched to mouse to get that first shot more consistently.
Yeah, I can actually do it on a controller, but it's been messing up too much, so
It's rough.
yeah. Another thing is that the possible spawns for the worm is actually based on camera and the direction your mech is facing. This is also a manip that I personally like him to come over here. Cardinal actually goes somewhere in a different direction. Everybody has their own thing. But I like it here because this is a lot safer. I have this silo if I need it. But I'm going to focus on getting this third and fourth shot.
Watch out for friendly fire.
Yeah, you have to hit the head, by the way, for this for the shield to go down. You must hit the head. So it's very precision based.
Yeah, once again, you have to apply it to the head straight on.
Something's wrong.
Oh, 5.
There we go. Hard setup.
Oh, I got the first shot. No. All right, I missed the third. I was actually a little bit too close. Maybe got shot? I see him over here.
I was
Yeah,
about
maybe
to say
get
that's
one pass.
an ice.
Nah.
Oh, you almost got it. That was
I
so
know.
close.
That was...
Yeah, so at this point, the
I've hit that
pattern
shot a
doesn't
couple
quite
times.
become consistent, so we're looking for things to occur in order to get that last shot, that fourth shot during this third phase.
It's the attacks are also really dangerous because he likes to bombard you and stuff like that. This is the pattern I want.
Genuinely just takes ages to hit the head. There's a cooldown. Oh no.
Oh no.
There's a.
It's really hard to
cooldown
tell which
with the
way.
head.
Wait, is there?
Yeah. Yeah, like you can't hit it twice, like with both needles at the same time. Oh,
Oh man, I almost died.
Yeah, that was. I think
That was really scary.
That's how my last run died. Was I just stood too close to the worm?
I've actually
the
tried
summary of my
to.
80% run.
Oh no, he's gonna do the whip.
Here lies PMC. He stood too close to the worm. There we go.
Nice.
Nicely done.
It can be such a pain to hit this last shot.
Yeah,
Like, when
I've
you miss it, it's
I've tried. Okay, I thought there was gonna be more. It's actually really dangerous in this mission. Also, if I managed to get the fourth shot, I could have saved Rusty. I know, not Rusty, Chatty. But I've actually tried to catch up before and just like boosted straight into the worm and almost died.
All or nothing.
It does so much damage. It's crazy.
But this mission was definitely super cool casually.
Yeah.
And that's the ice worm.
Well done. Really rough to recover on this one.
I will quit out here just in case.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this next mission is Step 1. You have the floor. I don't know what to make of this.
I mean, so first, I actually wanted to touch on the ice worm a bit. It's actually really neat. NASA's actually worked on an ice worm project themselves, except it's more of an arm to assist in exploration. But it's also, I mean, one of the prime targets that we want to explore in the solar system is Europa, which is an ice moon, and it's got a liquid ocean underneath it. So it's a possible solution for that, for how we might actually go about that sort of exploration. The other thing I want to talk about while you're literally falling kilometers is the fact that clearly terminal velocity doesn't work here. because we've already established that this is a several-story tall mechanized robot that is quite literally falling down a very large shaft and is not accelerating. So, I mean, there are boosters there, and it has the capacity to lift the whole thing. So, this whole scene doesn't make much sense physically. But that being said, I think the concept is actually quite cool. That it's an aerial battle. The other thing here is that just kind of a trade of a point of how far technology has progressed. I'd like to point out that our current record for digging on another planet is measured in meters, in single meters. And I'm pretty sure you fell about at least 3 or 4 kilometers here, and this is only, what, your second drop?
Yep. Yeah. And if this was the next couple missions, if this was all one section, we're only descending. Only descending.
Yeah, it's called Depth 1 for a reason. We got more.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I wonder if you might actually be hitting lava at this point.
Yeah, some more. You know, I wonder what Rubicon has inside its core. That's a great question at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of planets like ours that are geologically active. That once you go far enough into the crust, you actually hit, a liquid sort of layer.
You wouldn't find a whole city down there like Journey to the Center of the Earth or something.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, believe me, 10-year-old me would have been thrilled. But there are a couple of places in our solar system that are just effectively dead. So you could drill down as far as you like, and I mean, yeah, you're getting deeper, but you're never going to hit like a sort of liquid, liquid mantle sort of structure.
And I feel like it'd be even. Oh, God.
Sorry, I was just going to emphasize like a bit on Ren's movement here. It's like really pristine movement, to be honest. Movement in this mission is really, really cool actually, because there's elevations and you go up and down, and then you can quick boost around corners, and yeah, it's really fun.
Hey, Codewell.
Can you get this? Yeah.
Hi, Codewell.
Good job.
So that was actually a pretty big setup. I'm not sure if you can actually do that with NGI because the amount of EN you need, it might be really awkward. But this is going to be our first instance seeing the Enforcer. This thing is meant, I think it's from the Institute. It's meant to protect this depth level. I'm not really sure what it looks like. This fight can snowball, just like every fight. It can snowball really hard. So hopefully I get the setup for it. Card, you want to go into how stagger works?
Yeah, so the stagger meter in this game is built up from a cumulative impact, which is essentially every weapon in the game has a stat called impact, and based on how high the impact is will determine how much damage you deal to a non-staggered enemy. And obviously we would like a mid-ground between that so we can stagger it efficiently and still deal damage while it's staggered. So Needles and Power Bunker and Zimmer are really good.
Hopefully this thing cooperates with me. We're going to go in. She's a cutscene. And then we're going to get a little bit closer. So we're going to do Zim, kick, give me a bat pattern.
That's fine. Yeah. Good job.
This is how it snowballs. We only need to do a little bit more.
This fight can be really awkward mechanically. Oh. Nice dodge. But...
And it's
there we go.
Well done.
The efficiency at which you're just taking these guys down is impressive.
That's actually a really bad fight for me. It's usually dead in like half the time. But this is, AC6, Fires of Robbery. It really, like, Power Bunker has like 2 different hitbox. There's a chance for the Power Bunker to only hit the first hitbox and miss the second one. There's a chance of, I've actually had it, like, in the middle of my pile, shift me sideways, and I miss. You know, there's a lot of things that could go wrong in this game. It kind of sucks while on, like, world record pace and stuff like that, but, you know, it's part of the game.
There's I just wanted to elaborate a bit on that. There's a bug with the power bunker where if you dash or if you draw the power bunker or if you do an action, it plays the power bunker animation without the damage. It just goes off while it's in your hand rather than doing anything, and it literally just kills runs.
Oh yeah, and then you still see the effect too. You see the explosion, but nothing actually happens. So here in depth 3, we equipped the chainsaw. This chainsaw is even more jank than the pile, but it is very useful for very specific reasons.
I mean, Ash Williams will be proud.
Yeah. No, this is a real Evil Dead moment, right?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, right? I mean, I just want to say groovy at this.
Yeah, but we're gonna break this generator and we have to escape. There's gonna be an AC in the way while I concentrate on dispatching this.
It's a real upsetting power source. Every time you blow it up, it just melts everything, the entire facility.
Yeah, I don't think anybody on this planet thought about fail-safe,
No.
you know.
I don't think I've seen a single high-vis item this whole time. Don't tell the satisfactory runners, please.
Chance I can get some donations in?
Go ahead.
Fantastic. I've got a $35 donation from Big Eyeball. GDQ, I've got another job for you. I need you to reach the incentive to have Halo CE on Legendary mode. It's my final request. And checking in on that, we are over $83,000 towards that $117,000 that we need to get that met, about 71%. Please keep it coming. I've also got $25 here from Fizzlebang. Got a job for you, 621. This one's from the Archivist Group. You have to locate cancer and eliminate it. Show them you're worth the credit, 621.
All right. So that deactivates the barrier wall that we saw earlier and allows us to get even closer to the secret where all the coral is coming from. But first, you know, a paid break by the corporations because they want us to do something else.
So we're gonna go down even more. Do you want to go into like the mealworms and what we're gonna see in a bit?
Sure. According to the lore, please correct me if I'm wrong, the Rubicon Liberation Front has been basically surviving off of eating mealworms that live off of coral. Now, I actually quite like this because in terms of, from the standpoint of astrobiology, because when when you consider another world that is simultaneously somewhat similar to Earth, but very, very different, you don't expect biology to follow the same rules or follow this because just because the environment doesn't encourage evolution in the same way. So the fact that you see something that seems sort of familiar but is also very alien, I mean, that just seems right to me when you're dealing with something like this.
That was actually really lucky. The Vespers sent Rusty to us. I've actually never had that happen where I killed him with the Zimmerman afterwards, but that lucked out pretty well. Fun fact, if you reload checkpoint, which we were trying to use that as a strat, it actually breaks Rusty's AI. And he just stops moving and it ruins every setup. But we have reached the source of the coral. How this is here, don't crash.
That looks like an underground city, right?
I forgot to quit out.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh, it's crashed.
Okay.
It's okay. We're just going to go back in and we'll go into the replay.
We'll get back to the mission select screen in just a hot second.
But how is there light?
Yeah, no, I was gonna actually bring this up because you're underground and it basically looks like daylight. So I have questions here. You know, I have several questions. One, how? And two, what? You know, so
you think it would be difficult to replicate daylight in that situation?
I mean, I would say, yeah, difficult is probably a good word for it. You know, like there's a variety of things I can imagine, like bioluminescent fungi or something like that's growing on the
that
ceilings.
much
But
light?
that much light? No,
It is very bright down.
It is very bright, and I mean, yes, it is very dramatic and very lovely. And props to the game designers for making something that looks so dramatic and in this lovely game. But yeah, I have questions.
Yeah, sadly, we don't actually get to go to the vascular plant because at the vascular plant, we actually see the equivalent of, was it Miranda? No.
The ibis.
Yes, it's. I forgot what the Elden Ring is.
Millennia.
Yeah, Millennia.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten that far.
Sorry, I've only played FromSoft games that are 20 years old in this.
Oh, this is going very well, though.
Yeah,
Nice.
That was really,
Super
really,
good
really
kills.
good.
That's
I
actually
wish I could
okay.
get that.
Yeah, it's actually going very
If
well.
only. That's really clean.
But sadly, we can't actually go fight Cell, which is over there at the vascular plant, because I really like that fight. It also lasts like 40 seconds with 30 of it. No, yeah, 30 of it being
30
cutscenes.
seconds.
But All Mine has different plans. All Mine wants us to go eliminate Snail and Iguazu, which I'm more than happy to, because I hate these guys. But I still love the characters.
Oh.
But these guys suck.
I think they hate you too, to be honest.
I know Snail definitely hates me.
And Iguazu.
Iguazu's just petty. He's petty as the character. But I'm going to focus on this because this can go like everything very wrong. There's a very specific setup.
Yeah, real sewer shark action here.
I feel like that's just the subtitle of this game. Things can go wrong.
Oh
very
yes,
quickly.
that is.
Let's hope this goes
There it
well
goes.
here.
Nice.
That was actually a really bad setup, but we
Yeah,
recovered.
Mash, good recovery there.
It's not over because this guy can also still. He's coming for a kick.
Yeah, dual AC fights are a next level thing in this game.
and
They
now
will
it's
snowball so hard. Let's go.
That actually went better than normal. Usually, if you miss the setup, they just start ganging up on you and start staggering you everywhere and then kicking you in the face and all that stuff. But we are actually in the last 3 missions of the run. I would love to go more into the space aspect of it, but we don't actually get to see it. We're more in like caves. In the mission afterwards, we're actually in the Xylem ship. So essentially, Carla was trying to crash the Xylem ship, right? And we're ascending to go stop them, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. So Carla is a part of the faction called the Observers, along with Handler Walter, and they believe that the only way to prevent future instances of the fires of Ibis is to crash the Xylem and kind of do a new fire to truly burn, let the last cinders burn. And that is their goal, but All Mind believes, so we're now making a deal with All Mind, and All Mind wants us to stop them in return for, whatever it is. I'm sure All Mind has good things in mind for us.
Picking up enemies behind you.
But we are attacking the retreating forces as they're trying to... The Arquebus MT squad thought they could leave without paying the bill. It is not the case.
Enemy signal.
At the end, we also fight Pater. Hopefully that fight goes well. He's a non-threat, but he just likes to lose time. Oh wow, survived.
I haven't seen this mission since I finished my casual playthrough.
Augmented humans.
Literally have no idea what's going on.
Raven.
That's great.
Rendezvous point.
So, do you want to talk more about the Xylem ship in the next mission?
Yeah, sure. So the Xylem ship is basically what you're going to be executing a colony drop with, and it's always a good sign when you're dropping a space station or a spaceship from orbit into something else. But I actually just wanted to talk about how big this thing is, because yes, dropping anything from orbit onto somebody's head is going to lead to a bad day, but just the Xylem is quite large, and so just to give you a point of reference, ISS, which has served admirably since the 90s, is about to end get to the end of its life, and we are actually having to have like serious, long discussions about how in the heck we're going to safely bring ISS down without actually hurting anybody. Meanwhile, here we are on Rubicon 3, and, you know, safety be darned, let's just drop it on somebody's head, because that solves everything.
Yeah, sadly, we won't actually be able to see the Xylem ship like in NG+. But you basically, we can get 2 donations, and then you have the floor again to just basically talk about it and whatever else you want, because after that is going to be the last fight, which is the most difficult fight that can go very wrong super easily. I might even die.
Thank you, Gun 13 Raven. We have $25 from Semper Fidelis. Hype Train, abide with Rubicon. Give everything you got. Here are 5 tickets to board. We have $10 from Anonymous. 2 tickets to the train to 1,000,000, please. And we have $20 from the True King of Space. Get in the robot, Shinji.
I enjoyed that reference. Thank you very much, whoever did that.
Happy to oblige.
But, I mean, the other thing is, I mean, we're in the ship right now, and you can just see how massive this bloody thing is. I mean, just imagine the amount of resources to just launch this thing into orbit. You had to do this kind of assembly in orbit, just because, I mean, we have trouble launching, you know, a couple of humans up into space, you know, reasonably efficiently. This is simply ridiculous in terms of getting it off the ground. So this is one of those things that you almost absolutely certainly have to build this in space, because, I mean, he just dropped about 1 kilometer.
Yeah, so story-wise, at this point, we were doing whatever All Mine wanted initially. Like, our goals aligned because Air wanted to do the coral release and such like that. But at this point, even though we were supposed to be the champion for All Mine, she thinks of us as a threat now because we're
too good. Yeah, we're just too good at our job.
Like, I'm amazing.
I understand.
As I say that, I completely forgot where I'm going. But yeah, even though we want coral release also, we're too much of a threat. So she decides to pick Iguazu as her champion, which is great. Because I don't like Iguazu.
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows haters like haters, so I think I understand that.
Ooh, I mess up quite a bit. Don't kill me, please.
Just got worried about your health, yeah.
As long as it doesn't.
You'll be fine. It will stagger you, but you'll live.
Ooh, yeah, okay. All right, so this is actually Chatty. Chatty is actually connected to this because Chatty is actually an AI created by Carla. It is probably one of the only AI piloted mechs besides the initial Balteus and NG+. Later is actually piloted by Snail. I don't know how he's piloting it, to be honest, but this mission is over. We're gonna go into All Mine. You can talk about the space part of it because we are fighting on, I assume, a satellite, and we see the vascular plant in the distance.
It's one of the closure satellites, I think. The one that shot at us in the opening cutscene.
And the vascular plant was ripped out of the ground, upgraded, and now it's even bigger somehow in 3 missions. So while this fight goes on, and hopefully it doesn't go horrible, you can talk about that as a closer.
Yeah, sure. So fighting on a satellite, I mean, the first thing I have a question with is gravity. You know, like, there's no reason why you should be falling towards. I mean, this is one of those times that you just kind of have to apply, you know, rule of cool and magic of artificial gravity on the satellite, so you can actually have like people walking on it. But you can actually look around in the skybox, which I think is a rather pretty skybox, that you can see there's a significant amount of space infrastructure out there, probably either built and delivered there or launched from the surface. So, you know, like, these people have figured out space travel to a very, very high degree, and, you know,
Sorry to cut you off, but we're about to end.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So once this HP bar is 0, we will be done with the run.
This is the hardest boss in the entire
Yeah,
game.
this is this has
very
gotten
hard boss.
very bad, but this should be time.
Well done.
So I hope you enjoyed Armored Core. This run went particularly bad. I'm Ray BT. If you wanted to watch more Armored Core and such like that, check me out on my Twitch. Of course, check out my couch, PMC Trilogy. I don't know if you have a stream?
I do not have a stream, but check out LabX at the National Academy of Sciences. We want to bring science to where people are, and this is one of those cases.
I think I crashed. This looks like I crashed.
Like
it is a black screen.
Just to punctuate a wonderful run, you know?
Yep. It was a mess at the start, but we got through it. I don't think that timer is correct. But obviously check out Card. He's trying to push for even like the most optimal world record right now. I'm probably going to go for the true ending also. But thank you for having me. I feel honored to, be on the stage and actually, have the science part and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you all around. I'm also running Gravity Rush later tonight. So be sure to check that out because that run is weird.